Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pisapia. With me, as always, is the Welsh. And it's you, the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks, hanging out here on our Twitch, twitch.tv/FantasyPros. That's the place to find us live this season. And, of course, we will also be on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Fantasy Pros MLB. Yeah, right now we're trying to get to 25,000 by opening day. If we do, guess what? It's going to be Mario and Luigi right here. The two of us are going to be dressing up, so I'm pretty sure you guys are going to want to see that. Welsh, we had game 2 of Dodgers Cubs. We had Roki Sasaki's debut. We had a lot of news to get to as well, including another pitcher that we have both had expectations for that maybe might have to be tempered just a tad. But Welsh, regardless, baseball is fun. It's good to have baseball. Let's dive right into it, and let's talk about the game here. Another W for the Dodgers. Stop me if you heard this one before. 6-3 is the final. Landon Knack gets the W. Steele, friend of the show. We love you, Justin. Didn't have his best stuff today. Again, weird exhibition moments there. He falls to 0-1. That ERA is at 11, so there you go. That should be fun. The lines, though, Justin Steele, 4 innings, 5 earned runs, 5 strikeouts, though. Just 1 walk. You get to give up 2 home runs. That was the problem. Things unfortunately, just like yesterday, the second inning became a pain in the rear end for Cubs pitchers. And on the other side, Roki Sasaki, who was adrenaline pumping, throwing 101 miles an hour, jet flying,
limousine riding, woo! Son of a gun, woo!
and then for him, the location not so good. You know, he ended up with a line of just 3 innings pitched, 5 walks, 3 Ks. Welsh, let's talk about Roki Sasaki because that's what everybody wants to talk about, the debut. I don't want to put too much stock into this. I remember Yamamoto was really bad last year in that start too that he had in Japan or Korea, excuse me. You know, you get a situation where Roki Sasaki, adrenaline absolutely flying through the roof. I didn't like his mound presence. I didn't like his demeanor. To me, it was a big problem. And the biggest problem that I saw, and I'm going to exploit it, at least early on, he was giving up the biggest jumps on these stolen bases I've seen in a long time. He is long to the plate. He takes forever to deliver the baseball, not good at holding runners on. I'm going to be looking for stolen base props against opposing teams for Roki Sasaki when he's on the mound like crazy. Those are my big takeaways. Velocity, good. Location, not so much. What were yours from seeing Roki in his major league debut?
Yeah, I think it's hard to balance a little bit of like your pitching in Japan and the nerves and what was going on there versus some of the results because, you know, he wasn't throwing strikes. He had a 50% zone rate on his slider. So the slider, which funny enough has been kind of lauded as like not a good pitch, that ended up, he only threw it 4 times, but it got 2 whiffs. It got a called strike. It had a 50% zone rate. But the main pitches of, you know, he only threw 56 total pitches, 66% fastball, 27% splitter, bad zone rates, 43% fastball. That's well below average. And a, 7% on the splitter. And that's a big problem. And that's my, I've called it my Casey Mize issue, where Casey Mize was like biggest pitcher in the world. But it's like, if you're not throwing that splitter for strikes and guys are just going to not swing at it, and then you're just going to have guys teeing off on your fastball. That was, in theory, kind of what was going to go on here. He had 2 total whiffs on that splitter. He threw 15 times, 1 called strike. It was a 13% CSW, and his fastball a 14% CSW. They did not swing at the 0% zone percentage on the splitter because he wasn't throwing it for strikes, 14% out of the zone. So I'm just giving you just more like analytical stuff to just be like, listen, the splitter wasn't going. The fastball looks good. He has struggles with commands, and it does take me a tiny bit back to that conversation we had with Lance Brosdowski, where he said there are some that feel at the end of the day, you know, there might be reliever in there. And I think that's a bit extreme at the end of the day. And he can hone in.
That's a tough investment to sell the Dodger fan right now.
But man, like, you know, with the walks, when you're looking at the walks and the lack of strikes, I wonder where this is going to go long-term into the season. And like, how many times is he going to get to 5 or 6? You know, it's like a modern day Blake Snell. Like, is he like over under, let's say he has 25 starts. Mm-hmm. What do you set the line at games he goes 6 innings or higher?
Wait, give it to me one more time.
Okay, so let's say he just starts 25 games this year. What amount of those games does he go 6 innings?
Oh, 25 games. I'm going to say he goes 6 innings in 12 of them. I mean, maybe actually, no, 11. I'm going to say less than half.
I'm going to say like 5. I'm not sure he's going to go more than
Oh,
yeah,
God.
Fantasy Pros 3. I
Yeah.
think that's the big problem. And then so then
Michael Calley, salty producer in the chat right now. But Welsh, to that point too, you look at where he's being drafted, it's kind of
that's where I
absurd
wanted to
because
go.
like 29 overall right now at SP, 101 overall in the ADP. Roki Sasaki in my rankings was already in the 40s anyway before this start. I've dropped him to 50 overall. You look at Freddie Peralta going after him, Hunter Brown going after Joe Ryan, Zach Gallen, Sonny Gray. These are all very proven pitchers that have been out there and given you full seasons already. Roki Sasaki hasn't. It's absurd. I'd take Spencer Strider over. I'll take McClanahan, Alcantara, all these guys. It's absurd to think of him as a top 50 pitcher. He is right on the fringe right now for me. I'll go even further to say guys that I have innings concerns with, like Gavin Williams potentially this season. I'd rather have Gavin Williams this year than Roki Sasaki for redraft league. Do you feel the same way? And where do you have Roki in your ranks?
No, I don't think I feel the same way. I mean, I get where you're going with it. And I've been preaching since day one my concern of investment on Roki Sasaki. Some of it was also about like, would the team slow his roll and, maybe even bring him into camp to try to work on some stuff? They're letting him slide. I had him before this started at 39. So I was like, with you a little bit that I'm way lower than consensus. And I have said I've been worried and probably not drafting many shares. Now that I'm like, I don't want to go nuts and be like, hey, this start in Japan, this exhibition game is the reason you need to plumb it down. Because for me, it was a little bit more of like a confirmation of like, oh yeah, some of those worries that I had, they do seem in our face. There might be more walks. He might struggle to get into innings. And maybe there's some other things that are going to kind of taper him back. I'm looking and I have a couple guys now that I see. I'm like, they probably shouldn't be below. I probably will drop him down. And I think the number is going to be 42 under some. And we're going to talk about a pitcher that has some bad news we heard today that maybe could move him up one spot. But I think outside the 40s is going to be the range. And he, more than importantly, I'm not interested in investing him. I've got a couple more drafts coming up between this weekend and even early next week. I will continue my no shares of Roki Sasaki, and things could turn around. But outside of being like, oh, this exhibition game was just trash, it's just like, well, now as a confirmation, I think of some of the concerns.
Yeah.
Ironically, though, the slider being good, the fastball seemed okay. The splitter was bad. When the splitter's going, we'll see how this works for him. But not the type of risk. I would much rather Spencer Strider and potential early mid-season time hand over fist over Roki Sasaki. And the ranks don't dictate that right now, Joey.
No.
Like you were saying, like Roki is over Spencer Strider.
Roki's absurd right now. It's absolutely freaking absurd. And that's why I had him in the 40s already. I see Wonky Penguin had him in the 40 at 40 exactly. But I've dropped him to 50, and it is reactionary to this start. Not because I'm trying to hot take, oh my God, it's the first day of baseball. That's all the dumbest thing. But to your point, it's all my worst fears were all wrapped into one about what Roki would be, which look, starts against the Colorado Rockies I'm in on, starts against better teams like the Cubs are going to be tricky for him. Like the Cubs lineup's a good lineup at the end of the day. I mean, Seiya Suzuki's a good hitter. Kyle Tucker's a good hitter, and those guys came close to putting some bats on balls there where it might have even been a very different start that we could be talking about here for Roki. But I think the mound demeanor to me, it's funny. We're doing all the giveaways, right? We've got the, John Smoltz giveaway. We talk about some of our favorite pitchers. If John Smoltz didn't have his best stuff, you would never know it because of his mound demeanor. Presence on the mound is very important if you're going to be a successful pitcher at this level in the major leagues. And Roki, to me, looked shaken a lot. And why? Like, I understand there's a lot of pressure on you. It's okay. It's first start in the major leagues. When I'm playing in Japan, there's a lot of hype. There's a lot. Okay, fine. But still, you can't give that away to the opposing team and the opposing offense because it's going to eventually lead to bad things. And they know that you're not confident to make a strike in a big spot, and they're going to take those walks. And again, he got out of some jams here where I think this start could have been way worse. I already had him in the 40s. I'm going to throw him out early in every single salary cap draft that I'm in because I want other people to bid on Roki Sasaki and leave all the money to me to go bid on Sandy Alcantara.
Do you think though at all? Let's say the first regular season start. He goes 5, he strikes out 7, he walks 2, he's throwing strikes more. Like, do you think you're going to turn on a dime a little bit harder back in the other direction?
No, because I'm worried about him regardless going through the entire season. I had concerns going in from some of the stuff that I saw. And we were talking about this before the show. It's amazing to watch, him going out there throwing 100 miles an hour off the clip. And then there's Kirby Yates, who's throwing 93, the bottom third percentile in velocity, and he's getting swings and misses everywhere on everything. Why? Location, the pitch mix, all those things that, a guy like Kirby Yates offers as opposed to a guy like Roki Sasaki. And I know Roki's a starter. I get all that. But pitching, the art of pitching is a lost art form. And I love, the max velo is exciting. It's all this stuff. Sometimes you get both. Like Paul Skeens says both. When you have both, that's when everybody gets really excited. But I think the amount of attention on Roki Sasaki is absurd, and it's going to continue to keep his price high. I don't think people are going to pay too much mind to this start, but for those of us that were skeptical, I think it does reinforce a lot of our feelings. I want to get to some other things here before we get to more stuff from this game and some more takeaways. Just a quick reminder too, if you've got drafts coming up, we've got help for you. Draft Assistant. All you have to do is download FantasyPros MLB Draft Wizard right now. And you want to get the Draft Assistant when you sync your leagues for free. That's the way to do it. Draft Assistant connects directly to your draft. It's going to give you real-time recommendations. You can create cheat sheets. It's going to tell you with insights if you can make a value pick to boost your teams. Also, if you're in those 5x5 leagues, you can see the category projections as you're drafting, which is incredibly useful. Maybe you need batting average. Maybe you need steals. Maybe you need ERA. All of that is in here with Draft Assistant. So use it for all of your drafts. It's the ultimate cheat code to dominate your friends in fantasy baseball. All right, let's get to some other things here from this game too. We talked about Justin Steele again. I'm not too concerned with this one either. He looked okay. He just looked like, frankly, like Imanago. Like he just wasn't ready to pitch right now. Like they need another 2 weeks of spring training, which is fine. Tommy Edman goes yard in this one. Kike Hernandez goes yard in this one, as well as Shohei Ohtani on a home run that almost wasn't, but under review it was. So some power here from the Dodgers. And, when you look at the Dodgers too, this is a Dodger team without Freeman, without Mookie Betts, still winning games. And that is why I think the Dodgers are going to be a 100-win team again in 2025. Welsh, any takeaways here from this Dodger offense that you thought was intriguing?
Yeah, I mean, Tommy Edman, I think is the real big winner here. We've seen, the high batting order spot with Mookie Betts out. Obviously, that's not going to continue, and he can move to 6 or something like that. But consistently hitting, the homer is a good spot. He had 2 hard hit balls in this one. I think that's something to pay attention to. I believe he might have been one of the guys we had talked about, or I may have even talked about it in this league with Frank Stamfel from a time back, that he's kind of underrated. He's underrated as far as like where he's being drafted in that outfield spot and what, second base or middle infield qualifications are going to be out there. That I don't know. I feel good about maybe bumping him up a tiny bit. And he's in that grouping of those outfielders where it's like, I'm looking for stolen bases with a little bit of everything. This offense is just a powerhouse. And if they're ever going to give us opportunities where he hits higher in the lineup, he's deserving of that there. So I think of all the offensive guys that did something for me, it was Tommy Edman for the Dodgers.
Yeah, Tommy Edman. And yeah, we did troll Mike Mayer about drafting him because he's still Tommy Edman. But look, anybody in this offense is going to be mildly productive at minimum. On the other side here, Cubs offense, still struggle bus, 3 strikeouts for Seiya Suzuki. Kyle Tucker did get a hit, drove in a run there. I got an offer from Michael Busch. Shaw did get a hit, so that was good. Also made some good plays in the field, so that was good to see. So overall, I think the Cubs just want to get back to Arizona and get out of there and say, all right, well, starting year 0-2 is not what we wanted, but we had to play the Dodgers at the top of the year in a tough set of circumstances too. So it is what it is, as the kids like to say, and we'll be moving on. And I want to move on to the probably most impactful potentially piece of news, which was the Jared Jones news that dropped a couple hours ago. Really, Jared Jones will miss his next spring start with elbow discomfort. Ruh-roh, Welsh. This is one guy that you like, that I like, that is getting a second opinion. And, the first opinions typically, obviously, aren't that good. So I would be dropping him significantly. I've already dropped him out of my top 100 because I just can't go there right now. That's my way of telling you all, avoid unless it's basically free. And this typically doesn't go the way we like. So Jared Jones, definitely one of your favorite guys. So how are you holding up with this news?
Yeah, I think I had him on the sleeper, the breakout, or whatever. I don't love it. It's been nothing but oblique strains and elbow discomfort this entire offseason. I think yesterday we had Darvish having some elbow discomfort or inflammation. That's not good.
But none of us were excited about drafting Darvish this year.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's starting to pick up.
Yeah,
it's devastating to hear it. I don't know if it's the end of the day. I'm not going to do anything today. Like, I'm just not going to really move him. I'm just going to wait it out to see if it's a little bit of nothing. But I am very worried about, the doctor checkup. If they say second opinion and they don't get, if they do we're not going to tell you what it is, but he's going for a second opinion, plummeting. I'm absolutely plummeting.
Well, isn't that what they're doing? I mean, that's not.
No, they said that. Well, no, they said that he's going to get checked out. I'm saying if they're like, he's been checked out and he's seeking a second opinion, that's when I'll plummet. And I wanted to say game here goes exactly to where I wanted to go. If it does happen, I think Bubba Chandler would be the option. Bubba Chandler had a phenomenal spring. He's one of 3 pitchers, though, that they've got at AAA that would be likely. They got Braxton Ashcraft, Thomas Harrington, and him. But there were already rumors about him potentially breaking the rotation. If Jared Jones goes for the dreaded second opinion and he is out for an extended period of time, I do think it puts Bubba Chandler on the hot seat to get a rotation spot. And I took him in TGFBI as, we don't have big.
But he's not having a good spring, Welsh. Bubba Chandler. You mentioned
I'm sorry, the ERA. Yeah, I know the ERA floated up.
The ERA. He's got 2 1/3 innings, given up 5 earned runs, only 2 strikeouts, 4 walks. He's been dreadful.
It's the stuff. It's the stuff. Wait, read those by me again. Are you looking at a game log?
I'm looking at spring training stats right here on the official site here. Bubba Chandler, 3 games, 2 1/3 inning, 3 hits, 5 earned, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. Unless you've got something else that I don't know. Perhaps
I think that's one of the games, because I believe it's one of the games. It was like the March 8th game was where a lot of the walks came from. He was really walky. It was 4 walks in that one.
He was walky. It was like a walky penguin.
Yeah, a walky penguin. But the stuff has been there, and they've lauded the stuff. And he kind of bounced back after that bad walk start. His stuff plus numbers across the board. That was TJ Stats, I think it is, does a stuff plus model. And in that start that he had where he walked the 4, all of his pitches still had an over 100 stuff plus across the board. And it gave him like a 106 stuff plus, even when he wasn't great there. So to your point, I incorrectly said that, but I think Bubba Chandler is the guy that they go to. And I will make the investment on and pick up quickly if we hear the second opinion. But that's why I don't want to quite wait yet.
Well, look, I double checked on MLB.com to make sure that the baseball reference stats were updated, and they were. And Chandler, look, I know everyone gets so enthralled with the stuff. I want results. Okay, I want results with my pitchers, and this goes to another question here from Nuck and Futz, friend of the show. High picks on pitching. This is something that if you've watched my drafts here, we got another draft coming up this week. We got another one coming up next week, a mock draft show. I do not draft pitchers in the first 3 rounds, sometimes even the first 4 rounds, for this very reason. The volatility of pitchers at this stage in Major League Baseball, and I play in head-to-head points leagues, it's still brutal. I remember a time where the first 6-7 picks were the best pitchers in baseball. It was the Pedros and Randy Johnsons and Schillings and all these guys that would kind of go right through this run here, and then you would start getting you get the Griffeys in there too, because you wanted that big-time 250, 300 strikeout guy, because those guys were murderous in those formats. Now things have changed. Here's another question from Cookie. Head-to-head categories league with saves holds as a category. Are you more willing to punt on a closer? So, Welsh, when saves and holds are together, are you more willing to say, oh, I'll just take some elite relievers instead of just going solely for closers?
Sure, of course. I mean, this year you've got Jason Adam, Lucas, or I mean, guys that had potential closer spots like Urseg. I think AJ Puck flies up boards because he's like an elite strikeout guy for the Diamondbacks that would go up there. Tanner Scott, if he's just in a hold situation and they were to put him in the 8th or saving for the Dodgers, top 10 easy. So yeah, I'm not high paying for a closer in a save hold situation. And there are way too many good setup guys. Like Jose Alvarado has had an absolutely bonkers spring with insane stuff numbers, 6 starts, all the strikeouts in the world.
Well, haven't they said Romano's already the closer? Like, haven't they already?
But if it's save and holds, what the hell do I care?
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, you just got to know, like, that you can't keep your hopes up too much.
Yeah, that's just my point. Like, no chance am I high investing in like Class A and all them when you can get some high holds guys later. For sure.
Here's another really interesting one. By the way, Wonky Penguin says, has any second opinion ever been different than the first? I think once or twice, but let's put it at a 2% mark. You're 100% right, Wonk. From Tildo Baggins, need potential Jared Jones replacement in deep leagues. Griffin Canning, Casey Mize, Ryan Weathers. I'm going Griffin Canning. You want to talk about a guy who looked really good? We have 9 strikeouts the other day. I mean, unbelievable. And you know, we can joke all we want, and I am a self-loathing Met fan, but I have to come to this moment here where this organization clearly Griffin Canning has had moments with the Angels where I know I've picked him up off the waiver wire only to be disappointed and having to drop him back. I'm not saying that it's all systems go, but right now he's slotted to be the 5th starter coming out because of the injuries they've had. And if the Mets continue to do this thing where they take these guys that have shown glimpses of being good and harness what they do well and teach them to do other things better and rely on what they do well. I'm just saying, like, we saw it with Manaea, we saw it with Severino, we're seeing it with Clay Holmes, we're seeing it with Griffin Canning. I'm going to keep investing in that. Welsh, what about you? Would you take Weathers, Mize, or Canning right now?
Probably take Weather. I mean, I think they're all kind of interesting. I'm not as in on Canning as you are, but like, Ryan Weathers and the stuff changes look like they're kind of going through the roof. The Marlins kind of secret rotation. I also kind of secretly, even though I was talking about Casey Mize earlier, the Casey Mize, someone, who might be bouncing back. My order is probably Weathers, Mize, and Canning, but I also would say, like, I don't think it's a big difference. I think they're all very interesting on the back half. Must be a deep league if those are the only options in replacement of Jared Jones, by the way.
Pretty well. I mean, look, that's probably a 14, 15 teamer. Solar Floor, Mason Miller in the 10th or Ober in the 13th. Ooh, this is a tricky one.
Miller for me. I'm not a big Ober guy. Great value, awesome value. And if SPs are you didn't give us the context of the league, but if SPs are like super valuable, you can go over. But Mason Miller, you can get a top closer. It's super cheap. I would go with the top tier on Mason Miller there.
Yes, I want to thank all the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks for migrating over. I know it's a pain. I know it's another app on your phone or another thing you got to learn or sign up for, but it helps us. And if it helps us, then there's a better chance that we're doing this show 3 years from now. And that's what we want to do. We love all of you. We love the Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Just want to remind everybody too, we are doing the show live on Twitch now, twitch.tv/FantasyPros. That's where you will find us. And another quick reminder too, once the drafts are over, you're going to have to manage all of your teams. So make sure you download my playbook for MLB right now, wherever you get your apps, or go to fantasypros.com/MLB my playbook. Set your lineups right from one spot when you sync your leagues for free. So if you're in multiple leagues, imagine the time you're saving on a Monday or any day in daily transactions leagues. If you're one of those kind of crazy lunatic people, you can see the top players available on waivers right there in all your leagues too. You can see, oh no, I got an injury to Jared Jones. How many leagues do I have him in? Oh, 3 of 5. Well, I better go and hurry up and make sure that I get those leagues all situated. That's what my playbook allows you to do. Everybody uses it for football. Not enough people use it for baseball. It's incredible. I use it for all my leagues. You should too. Download my playbook right now for MLB, wherever you get your apps right now. Draft Wizard, do it all. Sync your leagues. It's free. Here's another question for the Peanuts and the Cracker Jacks. This one's from Brick. Let's get to Brick's question here. Keep 2. Reagan's, Kirby, Schwelly Box, and Bryce Miller or Jackson Joe. Well, Reagan's is in, so it's really keep 1.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Kirby here. I really want to take Schwelly. Someone in the chat had mentioned, well, the positive
the injury.
Kirby. Yeah, but it looks like Kirby is on the Strider train of like a mid-April return. And listen, like the end of the day,
that was Kodai Senga's return too. Remember that?
Yeah.
I remember that. Oh, he's going to return mid-April, maybe early May.
Hey, hands up.
June.
Like there is some inherent risk, but the problem is George Kirby is like a top 10 pitcher when healthy. And God, if he can get out of his head and, stop being like, I got to only throw strikes at all times and try to get some whiffs, like he could be a Cy Young candidate. I love Schwellenbach, and I think Schwellenbach's going to take the next big run, but I'm saying Reagans and Kirby here because Kirby looks like he's just, I don't think Kirby's going to miss as much time as we thought.
I'm the pessimist around these parts. Because once again, we've seen this. I've seen this story before. I've seen this movie. It's like the Hallmark movies. They all end the same. I'm just telling you, every single one of them. Small town guy meets the girl who had to leave town, and she comes back, and oh no, the Christmas tree farm is going under. Well, it turns out that her company is buying it. Oh my goodness. Well, maybe if they just go for a long walk and have some hot cocoa, everything will work out. Guess what? It ends up doing that. They end up falling in love, living happily ever after, but it's the opposite. All of these stories tend to have a terrible ending. So I'm going to go with Schwellenbach. By the way, does your wife watch those stupid movies?
What movie? Lifetime
Hallmark movies. The Hallmark, Lifetime. Yeah.
No, we don't even have cable anymore.
We don't even have cable. We don't even have it. Well, there's a Hallmark channel, and you can just get them on the channel.
But like, I would have to actively be like, hey, what's on the Hallmark channel? No one's doing that. So.
They're all just reading books at Welsh's house. They're their house of learned doctors.
I have so many TVs. There's way too many screens, like anywhere that you go. Not watching 3 a.m. baseball in Japan, though, unfortunately.
I got up again, 6 a.m. I get up at 6 anyway, watch the baseball game, just lounging around. 10-team head-to-head. This is from Bourbon. Hoskins on the waiver wire. Is he worth a pick up? It depends on who you're dropping. See, that's the problem, Bourbon. So if you want to drop who you're dropping, that is more to the point. Like, Hoskins is fine. Like, he's a fine addition, but I don't know. And yeah, I am a heel. Yeah, sorry. I am a heel. Did you see we had missing a couple weeks, and he missed basically the whole season. So this is what happens every year. This happens, and every year we try to be like, "Oh, everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine." It's never fine. It's always a problem. Garrett Cole's gonna have Tommy John. There, I said it.
They also weren't very clear with us. Take a breath there. They weren't very clear about the Kodai Senga stuff. They're just like, yeah, he'll be back at some point. When you get some clarity on like, oh yeah, Kirby's progressing, he's going to be back mid-April, like that makes me feel like a tiny bit better. By the way, did you see somebody was able to unlock the Positive Joe draft and not get the negative, which is like total. They tweeted at you. I saw the tweets.
I missed this morning. I was too busy trying to get my new passport, which took over an hour. Oh my God.
It's one I think that happened yesterday. You like literally commented back to them. Like they unlocked a Positive Joe draft. And I was looking and I was like, I must have loved that draft because it was like,
well, I did just refresh my rankings, and obviously people have been watching the shows because we hit records on Sunday and Monday for views on our MLB channel. Yeah. Again, FantasyPros MLB, subscribe, ring the bell.
Highest days in the history of
most views ever. Most views ever by a YouTube channel, I believe. No, not quite that. Hey, tell me if you heard this one before. Max Scherzer's hurt. Day-to-day right thumb soreness. This guy has the weirdest ailments, I swear to God. It's a back, it's a neck, it's a thumb. I don't think I could do it. I just don't think I can do it anymore. And it's tempting because you see him go out there and he'll throw the ball and look pretty good. And then it's just coming every single start. You're just waiting for the news. Like he must have like a FantasyPros news desk, like rewards card. Can we get him a rewards card?
Mike
Mayer's in charge of this, I think, because he's in charge of a lot of things. Mike Mayer, we needed a special rewards card.
10 injuries, and your 11th IL stint is free. Like that.
Yeah, the 11th one is free. Also, Gunnar Henderson, finally good news, took batting practice on Tuesday. So that's what I have no problem with Gunnar Henderson. Like I've seen some people starting to fade him in drafts. I'm not fading him. Are you?
I know I said this on ITL on the latest show. I was like, if you happen to be doing a draft and you're lucky enough that Gunnar fell to 11, snap call him. The only thing that has become difficult for me, because I'll still take him in the single digits, it's just like Corbin is there. Like, Corbin really looks like that shoulder is better. He's kind of back to it. He's having a great spring. Would I maybe take Corbin over Gunnar? I think that's become difficult, but I think inside the top 10 is still just like a no-brainer for Gunnar.
More Orioles news. Coby Mayo gets optioned to AAA because, all he did was go 7 for his last 19. I mean, what are we doing, Orioles? What are we doing here? You got all these guys and you have no pitching because Grayson Rodriguez, who, by the way, is hurt right now. he is working his way back, theoretically, resumed playing off flat ground.
Cortisone shot, I believe he's having today.
Mhm.
Or no, he already had the cortisone
He
shot.
had it before,
Today
yeah.
he's going to throw off a flat ground. This is hold your breath. Hold on to your butts. It's Samuel L. Jackson here. No,
Nope,
well,
not
I know
me
it's
either.
no, but
Not
I'm
me.
saying hold on to your butt, Joe, because this could be telling of how this goes. How many times have we heard this? Like, oh yeah, everything feels good. He throws and then Tommy John. So I'm very, very concerned.
This
I want
is
to hear what
the
this is.
question of the day. Who pitches more this season, George Kirby or Jacob deGrom from Nuck and Futz? Welsh, I'll let you take this one.
Kirby. I'm
shocked that you answered Kirby. Even I mean,
Kirby's going to be back in April. He's going to if Kirby misses a month, he's still going to pitch more than Jacob deGrom. If Jacob deGrom pitches, okay, so this: if Jacob deGrom pitches more innings than George Kirby this year, Jacob deGrom's winning the Cy Young.
Jacob deGrom's not winning the Cy Young this year.
Unless George Kirby has
money on
John.
fire. Light that money on fire. If you're, I mean, just don't make that bet, please. I beg all of you, don't make that bet.
Are you making AL? Are you making any Cy Young or MVP?
I am. I'm waiting as long as I can this year because I learned my lesson last year. I'm waiting longer this year because I was Icarus. I flew too close to the sun last season, and I thought I was bebopping and scatting all over the place. Are
you waiting for just a little bit more value on? Is there a person?
No. It's the value's already there. The value. I just want health. I just want to go into the season healthier with everybody that I've got. We have these other 2 games too with Ohtani. I just want everybody. The only bets that I have made is, and this is something that I've been doing, which is, and I think I spoke about this when we had Cardi on, which is whenever I'm going with somebody for AL MVP, I'm just automatically attaching Shohei Ohtani to them in a duo bet.
Yeah, you said
because
that,
you're taking your 3-1 odds and making them 8-1 just on the guys at the chalk. So why wouldn't I do that? And look, now is the time you want to make a big investment in Ohtani too. I get that. But overall, like, it's just, I can't. It would take an Ohtani injury, and then when he starts pitching again, there's just no way anyone's beating him. They can't. They shouldn't.
That's where the injury potentially comes into play.
It is. That's where the injury risk goes up, but you just can't do it. The Buns. Who's your sleeper number 2 catcher? Hishigawa, 15 home run season again. Number 2 catcher sleepers. I like Miguel Amaya, to tell you the truth. Like, I kind of like what I saw out of Amaya these last couple.
Yeah, you were talking him up. You were talking him up yesterday. Joey Bart, I think I had him on the sleeper show.
Joey Bart was one. Ivan Herrera doesn't really count, does he? He's kind of in that fringy.
No, I would say like Herrera's the marker, like where you would stop.
Yeah.
Danny Jansen is one. Joey Bart's probably the tippy top of my second favorite catchers, and I mean, there's plenty of guys I can justify drafting. Patrick Bailey, Alejandro Kirk and stuff. I don't love a lot, but Joey Bart and Danny Jansen specifically are my late catchers.
Another one from AVM. I'm so happy to see everybody here in the chat again. This is great. I snagged Acuna in my 3rd round. I know we should temper expectations, but what do you think realistically? Realistically, I still think he hits 25 homers this season, and I think he steals 30 bases this season easily, and I think he returns 3rd round value. It's going to be hard in head-to-head leagues because the first 6 weeks of the season are going to be a little rough. Welsh is more pessimistic on this.
No, I mean, yeah, but my brain is so broken. I was like, why did you take Luisangel Acuna in the 3rd round? Is this a rookie draft?
Brett Beatty, which, by the way, they're going to platoon out of the gate.
I know.
So I was right. Jeff McNeil is not a full-time baseball player. He's just not. So Brett Beatty's looked pretty good at second base. He's got the more, I think, the better hit tool overall than Acuna, but Acuna obviously the better defender.
Well, he played the strong side, it looked like.
Yeah, well, that's the other strong side. Right.
Yeah,
so he's probably the more valuable one than Acuna, but the process was good.
Yeah, but my brain is broken because I saw Luisangel, and you obviously meant Ronald Acuna. I think the biggest problem for me is like we just don't know. I think the power is going to bounce back. If you're talking about May and the legs working a little bit less, I'm kind of personally in like a 30-20 type of range. Maybe the batting average sinks. It's still pretty valuable, but I'm worried and I just don't know. And I think it's too speculative, but in smaller leagues and like a 10-team league, when you get them in like the 3rd round or something like that, yeah, you can totally make it. Maybe at 12 man, if you can make up for it, and you play like in a playoff or something like that as well, the back half of the year, it's really good. And maybe we'll be wrong. Happens all the time, man, where it's like, oh yeah, you're not going to run a bunch, and all of a sudden Ronald Acuna second half of the season steals 35 bases or something crazy. It's just, the batting average did struggle at the back half of last year. He's going to have a carrying piece, and is that going to be power or speed? It kind of feels like it's not going to be both. So the unknown has me a little bit weary.
I think that knee was bothering him all year last year, and he was playing through it, and then it just gave. That's what I think. I think he was not right. We saw him. We watched him play. We're like, what's wrong with Acuna? Why hasn't he gotten going? I think the knee was bothering him. It was bothering him, and then it just went poof. And now I'm very, very optimistic about Ronald Acuna this year. Third round, great. Second round, not quite great. I got third round is the sweet spot where I want Acuna. Last thing before we go, Welsh, if I told you were a major league team, you need to go sign a veteran starting pitcher that was out there on the waiver wire that hasn't been saved yet from the oblivion of baseball. Who are some of the names that you would sign right now? Some of those big names.
That's a free agent. Well, Kyle Gibson, I think.
Kyle Gibson would be a good one. Lance Lynn came to mind too.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd sign him, but yeah, to your point, like Lance Lynn would be someone I would look at. Kyle Gibson would be number one.
Yeah,
okay,
right. Okay, but no, Patrick Corbin is the one that gets
Patrick Corbin. It's never Patrick Corbin.
It's never yet he got signed by the Texas Rangers, and I thought that was kind of surprising. How Patrick Corbin he must be the nicest human being on the planet. He must be the guy that runs like the fantasy football league for everybody. He's the guy that comes in, like has little thank you notes, like, hey, I appreciate you. You got a couple hits for me the other day when I started. How does Patrick Corbin just stick around for as long as he has? It's unbelievable. He hasn't been effective since 2018.
It's not Tommy Pham in those fantasy leagues. He's not punching anybody.
No, it's
He's
not
just
Tommy
like, oh,
Pham.
you don't have your dues? Okay, shucks. That's okay.
Maybe it says Rick Ankiel. You know what? Rick Ankiel, I think I might feel better going through 3 innings at Patrick Corbin at this point.
I gotta be honest with you, I don't read much into it. I think this is going to be in some vein similar. The Rangers did this last year with Johnny Cueto, where they signed him. They let him sit around camp, build up, see if they had anything mid-season. They didn't really. I think people saw the Patrick Corbin signing and were like, uh-oh, lighter rocker. There's no chance. The thing that it gives you is he's a lefty and he's had innings. He can stack some innings, but he's not great. He's not a good pitcher at all. I do not I believe he's here right now. Thank you. Devastating cutter I'd throw. He's here right now. I think he will stay here probably through this is my opinion, through the month. I bet he'll stay in Arizona, practice against minor leaguers in instructional league, build up because he has had no spring. And then they'll just reassess. They'll reassess what their depth looks like because this is a World Series constructed type of team. And they'll look at his production and they'll either just cut him or they will give him a shot because they're already dealing with it. They got Jacob deGrom, who they're probably already waiting for him to miss time. You got 2 young guys in the rotation. Bradford is injured. They just have to have hands. I agree though. I don't know why they didn't go for Kyle Gibson and they went for Patrick Corbin, but he gets innings. He's a lefty and I don't think he'll be.
That's the only thing I can think of is he's left-handed, but
yeah.
Kids, parents let your kids be left-handed pitchers or let them be kickers in the NFL, and you'll always have a job somewhere. We'll be back on Twitch, by the way, live again, not for leading off, but we're doing a mock draft on same time, noon Eastern time on Friday. So join us and join our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat, because that's an opportunity to be in the mock draft with us. Ooh, that's right. Look at me. Look at this. Discord is so good. Oh my God, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable. Join our Discord, be in the drafts with us, and we hope to see you there. That'll do it for us, but the story of the game goes on. For the Welsh, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. Patrick Corbin. How does that guy keep getting jobs?
Can you imagine?
My God. He's like the Nicholas Turturro of baseball.
He's
floating around.
He's like the backup quarterback that never plays and just has all the money.
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy. Yeah. Put him on those State Farm commercials. Patrick Corbin. Hey, you don't do